recently on the HashrateUp podcast.
Yeah, and then it's no surprise that hash rate growth in America is so huge, right? Because for that capital, that's the market that they see objectively the lowest risk in. I do as well, but if you're from the UAE, you have a different view on it. How do you see that developing? Just briefly. I know, after Bitcoin mainnet, there was a bunch of interest, especially with the US administration and the strategic reserve and all of that, all of those shenanigans that we've witnessed over the last 3 months. Is there a lot of activity? I know you guys are also active in that region. What are your thoughts sort of on mining in the UAE, especially as, I don't know, prices adjusted for risk, I don't think are much better or not better at all than in the US.
Yeah, I'm in no ways an expert here, but we have done some work with some UAE based miners, and I was out there a few months ago, and my view is that like the Middle East and UAE is a good example is going to be dominated by a small group of players, probably some in some ways government connected. So in UAE, for example, like the two big miners are Zero Two, which is the spin-off of ADQ, the sovereign wealth fund, and then Phoenix. That largely represents the total mining that's happening in UAE. There was an opportunity to mine at like the few megawatt scale with some like of the cheap energy going to agricultural land, but my understanding is they're trying to crack down on that, and that wasn't the intention of what the power should be used for. So I think UAE will be very concentrated amongst a few players. It sounds like Oman is the same way, and then to be determined with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, and some other players. So right now we think it's going to be a heavily dominated market by like government related entities or sovereign wealth funds. And they still have not figured out really how to do the cooling there effectively. And people have always pointed this out, like what do you do in 45-degree heat Celsius, summertime. And if you run your machines in immersion, maybe that helps protect the machines. But what about all the electrical infrastructure out there? Like it's a significant problem in an industry that's trying to like minimize the amount of work and capex that goes into build outs.
Not just that, it's also desert, right? So from what I've heard, the go-to is hydro, because the dust particles in the electrolyte will actually make it not neutral anymore, and the machines will blow up, which is